Welcome back to this Moneycontrol live stream. You're watching Closing Bell with me, Nandita, Khemka.
And I'm Yatin, Mota.
Well, Yatin, good Friday today, given the fact that, we've ended the week above that 22,000 mark. In fact, for the week, I think the Nifty is up somewhere around 1%. And the mid and small cap indices were also in fine fettle today, gaining in excess of 0.5% or thereabouts. Advanced decline ratio almost at 2:1. In fact, autos, auto index has hit a fresh all-time high today. Even the PSU Bank index, Yatin, hit a fresh all-time high in intraday trade. And even if you look at the weekly performance, the Nifty auto index is up 5%. We've seen the likes of M&M, hitting 52-week highs on a daily basis now. Even yesterday, it was up and about. And even today, M&M, on the back of a pact with Volkswagen, that stock has hit a fresh 52-week high. Aside of that, almost all the sectors were trading in the green today. Among the top Nifty gainers, notable names were Wipro, SBI Life, M&M, as I mentioned, L&T, Maruti, Adani Ports, Tata Motors was also one of them. On the flip side, I think the PSU pack took a bit of a breather today after the up move that we have seen. So some bit of sector rotation playing out. Power Grid, ONGC were among the laggards today, and other names. SBI was also, I think, slipped into the red, and Britannia from the FMCG pack continues to be in the red. Apollo Hospital extending losses from yesterday, and even Reliance Industries came under some bit of profit taking today. But Yatin, broader end of the markets, I think we saw a bit of buying in pharma names today, Yatin.
Yeah. Pharma stocks were up, and we also had a new listing today, which is Entero Health. Now the issue price was 12.58, and the stock closed nearly 100 rupees lower. So almost a 8%, 8.5% loss to the issue price is what we saw for this particular IPO. As far as pharma stocks are concerned, we had Natco Pharma gaining by nearly 15%. We have Aurobindo, Biocon, all of these stocks doing well in trade. In fact, if you look at the overall pharma space, we had good gains coming in for Ipca Laboratories also. That stock was up 7.5%. Glenmark posed the conference call today. That stock gained nearly 8%. Gland Pharma, Biocon also moving by nearly 5% each.
Right, of course, we had a fair bit of buying coming in the pharma pack. We'll talk about the pharma pack in a bit, Yatin, but I want to start with Gujarat Gas. Now, this stock came under pressure. Of course, we saw weak earnings, profits. In fact, muted volume growth was something that, in fact, took a toll on sentiment. If you look at profit and margins, both were below analyst estimates. And as I mentioned, it was the volume picture that was pretty disappointing, because management was also not sounding very upbeat when it comes to volume growth in the coming quarters, Yatin. In fact, particularly in the Morbi region in Gujarat, that volumes there have been impacted not only because of pricing war between propane and gas, but also because of the Red Sea disruptions playing out, and which is why the Morbi region, in fact Morbi unit, is the capacity utilization there has been just about at 75%. In fact, overall potential when it comes to gas demand for the Morbi cluster is somewhere around 8 to 8.5 MMSCMD, but out of which only 3.65 MMSCMD was met through natural gas, while the rest was met through propane, which is where the company lost out on competitive advantage, right? And this has actually impacted the industrial gas segment, which happens to be the mainstay for Gujarat Gas. In fact, propane prices are expected to fall, Yatin, in the summer season, right? And that could be another reason why volumes can take a hit going forward. But if you look at what the street has to say, even Jefferies, it has an underperform rating, even though it has increased the target price. It has pointed out that the pricing strategy of Gujarat Gas suggests that they are more they want to defend margins rather than take back market share, right? Given the fact that we had seen 2 price hikes come in around September, Yatin, last year, when the company had increased the gas prices after 5 straight price cuts, right? So that suggests, according to brokerages, that the company is more interested in defending margins rather than taking market share. Even CLSA has a sell call, target price at 360. It says that the 30x multiple, PE multiple of the stock is unsustainable, and it sees risk of further EPS downgrades when it comes to Gujarat Gas. And even Nomura has downgraded the stock to reduce and says that the stock has factored in all the potential upsides and offers no margin of safety at current levels. And if you look at other stocks like MGL, IGL, compared to these stocks, Gujarat Gas at 30x trailing PE looks pretty expensive, but the stock has done well on a YTD basis, I think in excess of 20%, but we'll have to see how the volume picture really plays out.
Absolutely, and Gujarat Gas always sees that's fluctuation when the propane prices fall. That provides a better cushion of margins to the tile manufacturers in Morbi, and hence the switch from natural gas to propane is quite quick. to save costs. Gujarat Gas stock meanwhile fell nearly 6% in trade today. What was also soft in trade today was NMDC. Now Citi today has downgraded NMDC to a sell from buy with a target of 215. Now Citi believes that the domestic prices are already now at export parity, and probably there is little scope for volume uptick post FY25. In fact, the NMDC has hiked the prices by nearly 19% since October of 2023, and obviously the discount to the export prices are now narrowing. In fact, the management has indicated that prices should be largely more or less stable from here on. Obviously FY25 would be a higher volume play because the company is ramping up production, but post FY25 that there could be some challenge on the growth front as well as improving realizations, because the export markets are now also quite soft given the fact that the overall demand in the globe for metals has been hit because of the Chinese slowdown. So it is important for iron ore prices also to recover for NMDC to have further legs to the upside. Obviously in the past we have seen the demerger also happen between NMDC and NMDC Steel. So there are no lack of triggers moving ahead in terms of corporate action as well. So let's see how really NMDC shapes up, because the company has very aggressive targets to ramp up the mineral production. Obviously the government has also recently auctioned a lot of blocks in the rare earth mineral space. It will be interesting to see if NMDC really can participate in this particular auction as well. The stock of NMDC ended by nearly 1% lower in trade today.
Right, that was about NMDC. Of course, the numbers are pretty good, but of course today the stock is lower in trade. But let's talk about Glenmark. Healthy gains coming in there despite a Q3 loss that we saw. That's of course attributable to the upbeat management commentary in the conference call. In fact, they have allayed concerns. They've said that they have implemented changes in their overall distribution model, and that the India business will be back to earning sales of somewhere around 1,000 crore rupees or thereabouts from the fourth quarter. In fact, they've also said that they expect India business to continue to grow at somewhere around 10 to 12% annually going forward. In fact, the company also expects EBITDA and margins to improve going forward, given the fact that the R&D costs are expected to come down by $45 to $50 million. In fact, it has also said that its Ryaltris, the drug, is expected to do extremely well going forward, and could be something that could a big driver for the margin profile, right? But aside of that, it expects to launch 2 more products from its Monroe unit in US. That is expected to the production from there is expected to start pretty soon, and the respiratory and injectables are expected to be the major contributors in FY25 for Glenmark. In fact, the company has also said that it is going to turn net cash positive in this financial year itself, owing to the fact that it expects to receive somewhere around 5,600 crore rupees from the stake sale of Glenmark Life. Of course, Nirma is buying out 75% stake in Glenmark Life, and the open offer is on, I think, right now, and it will continue till about the end of Feb. But aside of that, if you look at the stock, the performance has been pretty well. On a 1-year basis, it has nearly doubled, and mutual funds have also been increasing their stake in the last quarter. And valuation wise, however, I think, Yatin, is it one of the most expensive pharma stocks among the others?
Could be. I think the main thing for Glenmark and why we have seen such a rally is that recently they divested their stake in their API business, which could help reduce debt. And in the conference call, management importantly said that they are now looking at a cost efficiency program which would reduce cost and improve margins. So I think that is one point which the markets liked, because of which the stock gained momentum. And I think the stock initially had a gap up of nearly 9%.
9%, right. But I think we've ended higher by about 7 to 8%, which is a good thing. But I think those were all the stocks on our radar this afternoon. Of course, we are ending the week in style, Yatin, above that 22,000 mark. We'll have to see whether or not we manage to knock at those life highs that we saw somewhere around 22,126 or thereabouts. Well, I think Yatin is, falling a little ill. I think we'll take your leave on that note. You guys have a great weekend and come back and join us on Monday morning. But for now, it's a goodbye from me and Yatin. Thanks a lot for tuning in.